Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Take Time Tracking to the Next Level with Replicon's intuitive AI-ready mobile app. We're going to talk about the mobile app in general. We're going to talk about what you can do from the mobile app and different things that are available within the mobile section and how you can make use of them. And towards the end, we're going to talk about what are the new things that are going to come up with the mobile app in general. So we'll let everybody join in. We'll have everybody settle down, and we'll start in a minute with the webinar. All right, so let's get started with the webinar. And like I said, we're going to talk about the things that you can currently do with the Replicon mobile app. And then we'll move on, or in the end of the session, we'll just quickly talk about the things that we're coming up with regards to the mobile app, or what all things that we're planning to do with the mobile app. So that's something that we're going to talk about today. To start with the agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about Replicon's mobile platform. We'll see how the installation of mobile app is done. We'll have tracking time and time off on the mobile platform and managing approvals on the mobile platform. We'll also add on with expenses, and then we'll have a Q&A session where we will also talk about the things that we're planning to come up with, or the new app that we will be releasing very soon. What's that going to bring up to you? So let's give you a background about the Replicon mobile app to start with. You can track, of course, the time on the go with our mobile app, so you can access timesheets anytime, anywhere. You can enter time, or you can book time off in seconds on the Replicon mobile app, and adding the comments is as easy as it is in the browser with regards to any entry that you're making. You have a streamlined approval process, so supervisors can quickly approve the items directly from the mobile app screen. You have, if there's any policy violations, which is there on the timesheet, that will be highlighted for the supervisors. And then you have automatic reminders for timesheets, time offs, and expenses. You have a seamless access to project data, so you can search for project tasks or activities on your timesheet. You can enter time against the selections that you've made easily without any hassles, and you can have easy access for project managers to perform approvals. So if you're a project manager, you will have a dashboard access within the mobile app, which will allow you to approve the timesheets and have a quick view, as the supervisors can have. And then you have a seamless sync of the mobile data. So the data that's entered on the mobile reflects across all the platforms seamlessly. You have a cloud-based delivery that makes sure that data is synced seamlessly, and you can upload digital receipts when it comes to the expense recording in the system. Okay, so that's a brief overview of what our mobile app does as on today. Installing the Replicon mobile app. So there are three ways that you can actually have your mobile apps installed. One, of course, on the Android mobile app, on the Android platform, where you can download it from the Play Store. The other one is from the App Store for the iOS platform. And if you're using iPads, you can have your apps downloaded on the iPads as well. But the only thing that you have to choose on the top left-hand corner, where you see iPhone or iPad only, you'll have to change that to iPhone only. I'll show you that when we go into the demo for today. So without further delays, let's get into the demo for the system. So I'm going to skip out of the presentation. I am here. I'm sharing my mobile screens with you. So I'm actually sharing my iPad screen. And the option that I was talking about, if you're on the latest iOS version, you will see this option called Supports on your top, and then you can choose on Supports. It will normally be set to iPad only, and if you set it to that, you will only see the Replicon Cloud Clock app on the system. You'll have to go into Filters, click on Support, change it to iPhone only, and then you'll be able to see the Replicon time tracking app here. And you can download that app for your iPads. For iPhones and for the Android devices, you will be able to directly see the app available on the Play Store or App Store, respectively. So I'm going to exit out of the App Store, and I'm going to move on to our app. So if I move here, you will see a Replicon icon. Once you install the app, click on the Replicon icon and you'll be taken to the page where you will be asked to put in your company name, username, and the password. Now, it'll start with the company name and username. Once you put that in, click on the sign in and it'll give you the password option. There are different ways that you can actually log in. So if your company is going ahead and using the SSO logins, then once you click on the sign in option, the system will directly take you to the browser for going ahead and putting in your network credentials and will direct you to the app. If you are planning to do a Google single sign-on, then once you click on sign in, the system will ask you to put in your Google credentials. So all the ways that you use on the web, they are all possible and available on the system here. So I'm going to use the normal way up here. There are different timesheet formats that you can see and are available on the mobile app. For example, the first one that I'm using right now is the simple standard timesheet format. So I'll have a list of timesheets available here. I can click on the timesheets that I have in here. It'll take me to the standard timesheet that I have. I can click on that timesheet, choose the day for which I want to enter time, and then go ahead and enter the total hours that I want with regards to it. So that's one of the ways that you have with regards to your timesheet or time entry. The other timesheet format that we normally see is the in-out timesheet format. So let me just log in as the other user in the system up here. Okay, and this person is on the in-out timesheet format in the system. So if I go over to my timesheet, you will see some of the timesheets with the in-out option available, wherein people can manually enter the in time and they can mention the out time of the particular selections that they have done. And once they enter the time, they can just go ahead and enter any comments if they have with regards to the entries that they have made on the system. The last method of entering time is, of course, through the punch-in, punch-out method. So I'll quickly log in using that here. Okay. So if you're using the punch-in, punch-out method, you will see the option based on what your punch-out or punch-in method selections have been set to. Like if you have the option to go ahead and select the project, client, and task, then you can go ahead and make those selections here. And then you can clock in to that selection. So I can just click on client selection here. I can probably say any client. Then I can make the project selections. I'll have a list of projects available. I can choose the project up here. And if there are tasks associated to this particular project, I can choose the task if need be. And then I can go ahead and clock in. So if you have photo available, like the photo capture available, then you will have the option to go ahead and capture the photo. You use the photo that you have captured, and then you will be clocked in into that particular selection that you've made. Now, this will, on the mobile app, show you the last action that you had performed. So it will show you the clock in action that you're taking. Now, say, for example, you're going to be taking a break, then you can just go ahead and click on the take a break button that's available here. You don't have to clock out of the system. You can directly click on take a break. It will clock you out of the activity. You can choose the break that you're on, have your photo clicked, and then your system will change into this yellow representation where it will show you that you are on break currently. And then when you're back to work, you don't have to clock out. You just have to click on resume work. So once you click on resume work, it will give you the option to choose either the ones that you had chosen earlier, your last selection, or you can go ahead and choose the other selections with regards to your client, project, and task, and then resume work. So you will have your work resumed and your last activity shown out in green. If you're working on multiple projects or activities, then you can have your punches transferred. So you can click on the transfer button that's available out here. So you click on the transfer option here. You will see the option to select the next client, project, and task selection here. So I'm going to choose the project here, and then I probably, if there's any task, I can choose that here. And then I can click on the transfer button to have my punches transferred over to this particular selection that I have made in the system. Okay. Um, so that's about the different methods that you can use for recording time. Um, the other things that are available within the mobile app, so let's log into the profile that we were first logged into, is the time of recording and the expense recording. So let's have a first quick look at how you can perform the time of and expense recording on your mobile apps. So to start with, the time off recordings can be done from the time off tab that's available at the bottom. And you can just go ahead and click here. There are three options available. You can do bookings, you can see balances, and you can go ahead and have a quick look at the holidays that are there for your system. So all those options will be available out here. If you want to add a new booking into the system, you click on this add icon. You choose the time off type that you're planning to take based on what's been assigned to you. You choose the start and end date of your time off. So say, for example, I'm trying to take it from 26th of this month to the 2nd of next month. So I can choose the range here and say done. So I have my 26th to 2nd selected. I can also choose if it's going to be a full day, half day, partial day, if that's the option enabled by the administrator for my bookings. And if it's partial day, I will have to choose the time when my partial day starts. For example, I'm going to make it 10. Well, I just do that quickly. And I'm going to say that it's going to be a 3-hour thing that I'm going to have. So I'm just going to say 3. And then I can just go ahead and submit my time off booking for approval. Now, all the submitted bookings, of course, can be viewed in the booking section here. I can have a quick look at all the bookings. I can click on balances to see the current balance with regards to the time offs that take policy or balancing into account. And then I can have a list of holidays that are listed in my holiday calendar visible out here in this section. So that's about the time off. The time offs can also be booked from the timesheet. So if you get into a timesheet, say I get into time distribution, you will see a tree icon on the top right-hand corner. If you click on that tree icon, you will see the same screen that you saw when you clicked on the time off option in the system. Okay, so let's move now on to the expenses section on how you can go ahead and book expenses in the system. So in order to book the expenses, you click on the add icon that's available on the top right-hand corner. You start by giving the expense sheet a title. So say, for example, I'm going to call it webinar for now. And then you can put in the filling date, ideally the date on which you're raising this particular expense, not the date on which you've incurred it, but the date on which you're raising the expense. That's something that you can mention here, and the reimbursement currency. And once you save it, you will now have the options to add the project against which the expense is supposed to be raised. So I click on the plus icon here. I can choose the client project selection that I want to make with regards to the project that I'm raising up here. And then I choose the type of expense that I incurred. So all the types will be listed out based on the project selections that I have done in the system. So I choose the project, I choose the expense type, and then I add the amount with regards to the expense type that I have chosen. So say, for example, I'm going to add $500 and say done. And then you have the other information like the date on which the expense was incurred, the description if you want to add any, whether you want to bill the client or not, and you have the option to add a receipt photo. So you can either take a photograph from your mobile app of the receipt that you want to upload, or you can choose from the library of your mobile app, and then you can upload the photo with regards to your expense sheet up here. And you can choose whether you want the reimbursement to happen or not. And finally, the payment method using which your payment was done so that the reimbursement can happen in the same way up here. Okay. Once all of this is done, you can then go ahead and save the entries, and you will now have the expense added. Additionally, if you just go ahead and go back up here, you will have that expense as not submitted. You can always go into it and submit the expense whenever required. So that's how you can raise timesheets, time-offs, and expenses in the system. Now talking about approving the expense sheets or approving the timesheets or time-offs. So I'm going to click on the dashboard option that's available at the bottom. Here you will see all the expenses, timesheets, and the time-offs that are waiting for your approval. So this is a view that the supervisors would have, and this is a view that the project managers would have. So I can click on timesheets. If I have multiple timesheets, I can either click on select all, or I can go ahead and check the ones that I want to and then reject and approve all of them. Or I can do that same thing for the time offs up here. So I can go ahead and have the time offs approved. If I want to see details of any one of these, I can click on them. I can have a quick look at the details, and then I can go ahead and approve or reject from the same screen up here. Okay, you can, if you're a supervisor, you will also have the option to view your team's timesheets. So you can click on View Team Timesheets, and you'll be able to see the total number of hours that your team has recorded for this date range that you see on the top. And if you move down, you'll be able to see the divisions of how many hours each user has recorded and on which day. So all those details will be visible out here. Right. Coming to the settings section. Here you have the option to go ahead and see the option to go ahead and chat with support. So you have the option to chat directly with the support team. You have the option to send us a feedback about the mobile app and if something's missing out and you would like over to see it. And you have an option to send log files. So if support gets in touch with you for any issues that you've reported and request you for a log file that will contain the actions that you performed while the error that you've reported occurred, then this is where you will have to just quickly go and email the log file to the users. You also see the version up here, and then you can go ahead and update your app whenever it's required. Right. So giving you an overview about what are we coming up with. So we're coming up with a feature called Chatbot, where all that you have to do, or we're moving towards automation, and all that you ideally have to do is just go ahead and tell the chatbot that, hey, I want my current timesheet to be filled in with these many hours, and then the timesheet is automatically filled by the chatbot for you. Also, you'll have an option where the punch-ins and punch-outs can be done automatically. So you'll be asked if you want to punch into this location, and do you want to tag this location as your work location. So all that will be recorded automatically. So next time when you come into the same location, the user or the system will ask you if you want to punch in, and then you just say yes, and it punches you in. So we are coming towards that kind of automation. Additionally, we are coming to an automation where you will have the option to go ahead and have login done based on Face ID and Touch ID. So you can go ahead and log in using the Touch and the Face ID directly, and then go ahead and start using the Replicon mobile app. All right, so that's the enhancements that we're coming over to, and that's what you can currently do with the mobile app.